This week's Parsha, after Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is Monday night, Tuesday, B'Ezras Hashem, but we're already in the week of VaEschanan, Shabbos Nachamu, Shabbos of consolation, so it's a little premature. We haven't gone through Tisha B'Av yet, but nevertheless, that this is the week, and we won't be getting together after Tisha B'Av, but it should become a moyed. Finally, should flip around. The birthday of Mashiach should be a time that we can celebrate instead of having to mourn on the day itself. But part of that process of consolation is knowing that we do have the power to change the situation. And a major part of that power we see in this week's Parsha with Moshe Rabbeinu, Parashas VaEschanan, that Moshe pleaded with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, as Rashi points out. VaEschanan is Lashon. It's a language of asking Kadosh Baruch Hu for something free. And as the Kli Yakar points out, that tzaddikim do not like to rely upon their merits to ask for things. They're not so presumptuous to assume that which they have done is worthy of anything they might possibly ask for. So they're asking for free, which may sound like a bir chutzpah, but it's the other way around. But we see the power to feel it. Chazal point out that even though the Gezerah was sealed against Moshe Rabbeinu by Mei Riva, that even though he was unable to, at that time, to convince the Kodesh Baruch Hu to allow him to go to Eretz Yisrael, but through his tefillah, through his davening, the power of tefillah, he was able to go beyond the decree and actually change the decree to the point that the Kodesh Baruch Hu was prepared to allow him to finally go into Eretz Yisrael. But as the Medrash points out, the Kodesh Baruch Hu said that if you go in now, based upon what the Jewish people are holding, you may have rectified yourself, but Klal Yisrael has not, and it will result in some later destruction of them, because you will not be destructible at that time, and you'll build a base of Mikdash which will not be destructible. It's a long Medrash, but the point is that Moshe Rabbeinu could have abrogated the decree against him in this week's Parsha, or at least through his tefillah, but he chose not to because, as the leader that he was more concerned about the future of Klal Yisrael. Anyhow, but it's an opening and an opportunity to be able to discuss a very important part of what we do on a daily basis, and is really a major part of who we are, and that is tefillah itself. The whole concept of tefillah, how it actually works. You know, people show up sometimes at their shopping list, and they simply go to Kodesh Baruch Hu and say, "Here's what I want. Here's what I need." You know, is that what tefillah is all about? Tefillah is extremely kabbalistic. It was organized by the Anshe Knesset Gdola, the men of the Great Assembly, who were prophets, and they had Ruach HaKodesh, the ones who were not prophets, and they organized everything in terms of how the words in the machshava, the three parts of tefillah itself. There's the part of the osius, the words themselves, the letters themselves, the physical part, and then there's the actual pronunciation, which is the level of ruach and the neshama. The neshama is the machshava part, the intention, the kavanah behind the words. And if you want a deeper explanation as to how it all works together, to change reality, to work as a partner with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Moshe Bereshis, you can look at Shar Beis of Nefesh HaChaim. He goes into detail about the concept to feel over there. But the lesson over here, this it's a long section, but we'll just do the first part of it, B'Ezras Hashem, and it deals with the concept to feel it and how it actually works. So he says, "V'zehu gam kein inin kol tefillah." This is also the issue of the matter of all of our prayers. Anything that's good that happens down in the lower world, any Yeshua on a personal level, a national level, certainly on an international level, but any salvation, getting a paycheck in the mail to help pay for bills you thought you couldn't pay for, whatever it might possibly be, is always going to be a function of some type of gilui, some type of revelation of Hashem's light in the upper world. That's the way it works. And what happens as the upper channels open up, as the light becomes revealed in the upper world, it flows down to the lower world, and it results in some kind of Yeshua, some kind of redemption, some kind of salvation down here. So that's what we're trying to do when we're davening. We're davening down here to open up spiritual channels up there, to cause a revelation of God's light that will eventually come back down here again, and that will change reality for the better. That's the plan, that's the goal. That's the idea. That's why the word brucha, they point out the word brucha, which means blessing, comes from the word brecha, which is like a stream, because the light that makes the brucha possible streams down from Shemayim, right? Because any, and this is extremely Kabbalistic, a very important idea in Kabbalah, that all that takes place in the world of Atzilus is for the sake of the three lower worlds of Bri, Yitzir, and Asiyah, which means in simple terms that all the revelations in the upper spiritual domains, which we may never see until later on in history, after in the world to come, but all the Giluyim, all the revelations of God's light in the upper world are specifically for what's going to happen down in the lower world. L'chein, tzarich sheyeh kol tefillah, kol bakasha, rak leman shemo yisborach. Right, so therefore every tefillah, and this is extremely important, that every time we daven, any request we make from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not about personal shopping list and making our lives personally better. That may be for the sake, that ultimately we want to happen so we can serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu better. But everything we do, every davening, every prayer, every bracha we make, has to be for the sake of His name. May it be blessed. She's galat tuvay v'arishu gilui or kiddush, so that there should be a revelation of His goodness and His light, and that the revelation of the light of His holy light, may His name be blessed. B'yoter b'yoter. And that's the whole goal of everyday life. No matter what we're doing, from the most seemingly mundane thing like washing dishes or changing diapers, whatever the case may be, to working the Beis Hamikdash in the Kodesh Kodeshim on Yom Kippur. It's all part of the same avodah, different dargahs, different levels, but it's all part of the same concept. We're all working for the sake of trying to increase the revelation of God's light in this world. That's what we are. We're revealers of God's light in this world. And after all, that's what Or L'Goyim means. A light unto nations means specifically that our job as the Jewish people is to cause that light to become more revealed in creation. That's what it's all about. V'gam kol ha'tfilos asher hein rak al tzarchi b'nei adam. Likewise, all the prayers that are made for the specific reason of the needs of people, asher lekol adam prati, or every individual person, tzarich shegam ki rak leman shemo. No matter who you are and where you're davening, if you're davening by yourself in some corner someplace, it's all for the sake of God's name, meaning to increase His light within creation. And the Kabbalah is up, as the Gemara says, in Brochas, on Samach Gimel Amud Aleph, Kol Mishtativ Shem Shemayim B'Tzaro, Koifim Lo Parnasaso. Right, that anybody who makes a partnership between himself, what he's doing, and Shemayim, whatever suffering he's going through, he makes some kind of partnership with Shemayim, so they'll double his parnasa, they'll double his livelihood in the end. Somehow, he doesn't just keep it to himself, but his suffering, whatever he's going through, his Yisurim, he couples it, so to speak, with Shemayim, and we'll see what that means. And as a result of that, for doing that, Shemayim will therefore double his livelihood. The question is, what's the connection? What's going on over here? Because all goodness and all redemption on the most specific of levels is only because there is an increasement of God's light revelation in the upper worlds. End of story. You want to, in other words, whatever is going down below here, we'll say it anyhow. Right? Because when somebody is missing something down in the world below, no matter how big, no matter how small, right? He's missing something, feels definitely he's lacking something in life. Who are you? Right? So whatever, it's like, you want water from the faucet, you want water to come out through the pipe over here. The water, you turn the bear is on, you turn the faucet on, and the water's not coming out. You look inside the little tap over here, and it seems clear. You put a little stick inside, it seems clear. You look at, with the pipe closer to the sink, it seems nice and clear. Somewhere, there's a stigma. Assuming that the water company has not turned off the water, which is also an even bigger stigma, even bigger blockage, but somewhere, the water should be flowing through the pipes to the sink. If it's not flowing, somewhere it's being blocked. You have to understand where that blockage is going to be. So if somebody says, I need to find a shidduch, I need more parnasa, more financial support, success, whatever, I need to be successful in speaking in public, whatever the case may be. If some reason you're not succeeding because the rule is you should be able to succeed,